My girlfriend said she just wanted fun and not a relationship. So I started having fun without her. Now she's losing her mind. I'm 28M. And I need to get this off my chest because I'm genuinely confused about whether I'm handling this situation correctly or if I'm being an asshole. 6 months ago, I met a girl, let's call her Amber, at a friend's birthday party. She was 26, worked in event planning, had this infectious energy that drew everyone to her. We hit it off immediately, stayed up until 4 a.m. just talking, exchanged numbers, started texting constantly. Our first date was incredible. We went to this hole-in-the-wall Thai restaurant, then walked around the city for hours, just talking about everything. Our second date was even better. By the third date, we'd established that we were exclusive, or so I thought. For the first 3 months, everything was perfect. We saw each other 3 or 4 times a week. She'd stay over at my place on weekends. We went on road trips, tried new restaurants, went hiking, attended concerts. She met my friends. I met hers. It felt like we were building something real. I'm not someone who rushes into things, but I could feel myself falling for her. She was funny, spontaneous, ambitious. She challenged me intellectually. She made me want to be more adventurous, to say yes to things I'd normally decline. Around the 4-month mark, I told her I loved her. We were watching the sunset from this overlook outside the city, and it just came out naturally. I love you. She smiled, kissed me, and said, I love you too. Everything still seemed fine. Great. Even. Then, about 2 months ago, things started shifting. She became less available. Plans we'd made would get cancelled last minute because something came up with work or the girls really need me tonight. She'd take hours to respond to texts when she used to reply within minutes. When we were together, she seemed distracted, always on her phone. I tried not to be that guy, the insecure boyfriend who needs constant attention. I gave her space, focused on my own life, hit the gym more, spent time with my own friends, worked on projects I'd been neglecting. But the distance kept growing. Then, 3 weeks ago, she asked if we could talk. She came over to my apartment on a Tuesday evening, which was unusual because Tuesdays had become her self-care nights. She sat on my couch, couldn't quite meet my eyes, and said, I need to be honest with you about something. My stomach dropped. I immediately thought she was going to confess to cheating. I've been doing a lot of thinking. She started, about what I want out of life right now, and I realized that I'm not in the right headspace for a serious relationship. I stared at her. We've been together for almost 6 months. You're just now realizing this? It's not that I don't care about you. She said quickly. I do. I care about you so much. But I'm 26, and I feel like I'm missing out on experiences. I want to be young and free and not have to check in with anyone or worry about anyone else's feelings. I want to travel spontaneously, go out whenever I want, meet new people. Just live. You know? You can do all of that in a relationship. I said. I've never stopped you from doing anything. I know. But it's different. When I'm in a relationship, I feel guilty if I want to go out without you. I feel like I have to consider you in every decision. And I don't want that right now. So you want to break up? No. She said. Not break up. I still want to see you. I still want to hang out and have fun together. I just don't want the pressure of a relationship. No labels. No expectations. No obligations. Just fun. I sat there processing. So you want all the benefits of having me around without any of the commitment. That's not how I'd put it, but that's what it is. You want me available when you want attention or companionship. But you also want the freedom to do whatever you want with whoever you want. Why are you making this sound so transactional? Because it is transactional. Amber, you're literally asking me to downgrade from boyfriend to, what? Casual hookup? Backup plan? I'm asking you to be my friend. She said. A friend I have chemistry with. A friend I care about. But without all the relationship pressure. And if I say no? She was quiet for a moment. Then I guess we'd have to go our separate ways. Because I can't do the serious relationship thing right now. It's not fair to you to pretend I can. I felt like I'd been gut punched. This woman I'd fallen in love with, who'd told me she loved me, was now sitting in my apartment telling me she wanted to demote our relationship to something casual because she wanted to live. I need time to think about this. I said. Of course, she said. Standing up. Take all the time you need. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I don't want to lose you completely. After she left, I sat on my couch for hours, just staring at the wall. Part of me wanted to fight for the relationship, to convince her that what we had was worth preserving. But another part of me, the part with self-respect, knew that you can't convince someone to want you. I spent the next 3 days analyzing everything, going through old texts, replaying conversations in my head, trying to figure out what I'd missed. And that's when I realized, she'd checked out of our relationship weeks ago. Maybe longer. This conversation wasn't the beginning of her pulling away, it was the formalization of something that had already happened. I also realized something else. I'd been bending myself into knots trying to be the perfect boyfriend. I'd rearranged my schedule for her. I'd been available whenever she needed me. I'd put her needs ahead of my own more times than I could count. And now she was telling me that all of that was pressure? So I made a decision. I texted her, "I've thought about what you said. You're right, you should live your life and have fun. And so should I. Let's keep it casual." She responded within minutes, "Really? You're okay with this?" "Yeah," I replied. "Let's just have fun. No pressure. No expectations. Thank you for understanding." She wrote, "This is why I care about you so much. You just get it." But here's the thing, I did get it. I got exactly what she was doing. And I decided to play the same game. If she wanted casual and fun, then that's exactly what I'd give her. But on my terms. Not hers. I stopped texting her first. Stopped making plans. Stopped being available at her convenience. When she'd text me asking to hang out, I'd be busy, which wasn't a lie. I started saying yes to every invitation I'd previously declined because I was prioritizing her. Concert tickets from a coworker? Yes. Weekend hiking trip with college friends? Absolutely. Thursday night bar trivia? I'm there. I updated my dating apps, not to actually date anyone seriously, but to remind myself that I had options too. I started going to the climbing gym. Joined a recreational soccer league. Took a weekend trip to visit my brother in another state. I posted more on social media, something I'd rarely done before. Pictures from nights out with friends. Shots from the hiking trip showing scenic overlooks. A picture of me and my soccer team after we won our first game. I wasn't doing it to make Amber jealous. I was doing it because I was genuinely having fun. The fun I'd forgotten I could have while I was busy trying to be someone's perfect boyfriend. About a week into this new lifestyle, Amber texted, "Hey stranger. Feels like I haven't seen you in forever. Wanna come over tonight?" "Can't." I replied. "Already have plans." "Tomorrow?" "Busy then too." "Maybe next week?" "Wow. Okay. Mr. Popular." Suddenly I didn't respond. 2 days later, "I miss you. Can we please find time to hang out soon?" "I miss you too." I wrote back. "I'm pretty packed this week, but I'll let you know when I'm free." The shift in dynamic was immediate. Suddenly, I wasn't the one pursuing. I wasn't the one initiating. I wasn't the one rearranging my life to accommodate hers. And she hated it. The texts started coming more frequently. "What are you up to? Who are you with? You're being weird. Did I do something wrong?" I kept my responses light and friendly. "Just out with friends. Playing soccer tonight. Not being weird. Just busy." Then came the social media stalking. She started liking old posts on my Instagram. Commenting on pictures with questions. "Who's that?" Under a photo of me with my soccer team that happened to include several women. "New hobby?" Under a climbing gym check-in. I kept things vague. "Yeah. I've been climbing for a few weeks now. It's a great workout. 2 weeks into this." She called me, something she rarely did. I was at a friend's barbecue when my phone rang. "Hey," I said, stepping away from the noise. "Hey," she said, and I could hear something off in her voice. "I feel like you're avoiding me." "I'm not avoiding you. I've just been busy." "Busy with what?" "Life. Amber. Friends. Hobbies. Work. You know. Living." There was a pause. "Are you seeing someone else?" "We're keeping things casual. Remember? That means we're both free to see other people." "Yeah. But, are you though? Seeing someone else?" "I'm living my life. Having fun. Isn't that what we agreed on?" "I just feel like you've completely pulled away from me." "Amber, you told me you wanted casual. You wanted fun without pressure or expectations. That's what I'm giving you. But you're supposed to still want to see me." And there it was. The truth. She didn't want a relationship with me. But she also didn't want me to move on. She wanted me available whenever she decided she wanted attention. But free to ignore me when she didn't. "I do want to see you," I said calmly. "But I have my own life now. Just like you wanted to have yours." She got quiet. "This isn't what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" She couldn't answer. Or wouldn't. "Look," I said. "I need to get back to my friends. We'll hang out soon." "Okay? When?" "I'll text you." I didn't text her. 3 days later, she showed up at my apartment unannounced. I was home. Thankfully alone. Just watching TV in sweats. I opened the door to find her standing there with tears in her eyes. "We need to talk," she said. I let her in. She sat on the same couch where she'd told me she wanted to keep things casual just 3 weeks earlier. "I hate this," she said. "I hate how things are between us now." "What do you mean?" "We're keeping it casual and fun. Like you wanted. But you're different. You're distant. You barely talk to me. You're always busy. It's like you don't even care anymore." "I do care," I said. "But I'm also respecting what you asked for. You wanted space to live your life. So I'm living mine. I didn't mean for you to just forget about me. I haven't forgotten about you. But I'm not going to sit around waiting for you to decide when you want my attention. That's not casual, That's being your backup plan. That's not what I wanted. Then what did you want? Amber? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm sitting, you wanted to keep me on a leash long enough to make sure you couldn't find anything better. And now that I'm not sitting obediently waiting, you're upset. That's not fair, isn't it? You wanted freedom. I gave it to you. But you also wanted me to stay exactly where I was, pining for you, available whenever you felt like showing up. That's not how this works. She was full on crying now. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said I wanted to keep things casual. I want to go back to how we were. We can't go back. Why not? Because you showed me that when things got real, when we were building something meaningful, you ran. You decided that the possibility of something more exciting was worth more than what we had. And that taught me everything I needed to know. People make mistakes. You're right. They do. But this wasn't a mistake, Amber. This was a choice. You chose to downgrade our relationship because you thought you'd find something better. And now that I'm not waiting around for you to finish exploring, you want to come back. I wasn't looking for something better. Then what were you looking for? She didn't have an answer. Or she did. But she couldn't say it. She was looking for validation. For attention from multiple sources. For the security of having me while also having the freedom to see if she could do better. I think you should go, I said quietly. Are you serious? I am. I appreciate you being honest with me about what you wanted. And I hope you find the fun and freedom you're looking for. But I'm not interested in being someone's maybe someday option anymore. So that's it? You're just giving up on us? You gave up on us 3 weeks ago. I'm just finally accepting it. She stood up. Mascara running down her face. You're going to regret this. When you're alone and you realize what you lost, Amber. I'm not alone. I have friends. Hobbies. A full life. What I don't have anymore is someone who made me feel like loving them was a burden. She left without another word. That was a week ago. Since then, my phone has been a nightmare. She's texted me probably 50 times. Long paragraphs about how she made a mistake. How she realizes now that she loves me. How she was just scared of commitment but she's ready now. She's called at 2 a.m. crying. Leaving voicemails about how I'm the best thing that ever happened to her and she can't lose me. She's shown up at places she knows I'll be, the climbing gym. My usual coffee shop. Even my office building. Her friends have started reaching out to me. Amber's a mess without you. Can't you just give her another chance? She really loves you. She was just confused. My friends think I should block her completely and move on. My sister thinks I should hear her out because people do stupid things when they're scared of commitment. But here's what I know. Amber didn't want me when she thought she could do better. She only wants me now because she realized that I wasn't going to wait around indefinitely. That's not love. That's panic. She didn't fall back in love with me. She just realized she lost control of the situation. When she had me as her devoted boyfriend, she took it for granted. Thought she could explore other options while keeping me in her back pocket. And when I actually started living my own life, she realized that her backup plan was moving on without her. So now I'm here, fielding desperate texts and voicemails and surprise visits, wondering if I'm being too harsh, if I should give her another chance, if what we had was worth salvaging. But every time I consider it, I remember how easily she threw it away. How she told me she didn't want the pressure of a relationship when all I'd done was love her. How she wanted to keep things casual right up until the moment I actually kept them casual. Am I wrong for not taking her back? Should I give her another chance? Or am I right to walk away from someone who only realized my worth when I stopped offering it? I genuinely don't know anymore. Update number 1, posted 5 days later. I appreciate everyone who took the time to comment on my original post. The overwhelming response was that I should stay strong and not take Amber back. With a few dissenting voices saying everyone deserves a second chance. I've spent the last 5 days really thinking about what I want and what I'm willing to accept. And a lot has happened in that time. First, the Amber situation escalated. The texts and calls continued relentlessly. When I stopped responding entirely, she started showing up everywhere. And I mean everywhere. She showed up at my apartment building at 7 a.m. one morning when I was leaving for work. She was sitting on the steps, looking like she hadn't slept. When she saw me, she jumped up and started talking rapid fire about how she'd spent all night thinking about us and she couldn't lose me and she was willing to do whatever it took. I told her, as gently as I could, that showing up unannounced wasn't healthy for either of us and that she needed to stop. She promised she would. She didn't. 2 days later, she showed up at the climbing gym during my usual evening session. She doesn't climb, has never expressed any interest in climbing. But there she was, in brand new climbing shoes and a harness, asking me to teach her. I pulled her aside and said, Amber, you need to stop. This isn't okay. I'm just trying to be part of your life. She said, you're always here. So I thought, you thought you could force your way back into my life by taking up my hobbies? I want to show you I can be fun. That I can be spontaneous and adventurous. You were already those things. That's not why we're not together. Then why? Why won't you give me another chance? I took a deep breath. Because you showed me that when you had me, I wasn't enough. And I can't be with someone who only wants me when they think they're losing me. She started crying again. And I felt terrible. But I also felt certain. This wasn't love, it was fear of loss. There's a difference. I left the climbing gym and didn't go back for the rest of the week. But here's where things took an interesting turn. Remember how I mentioned I'd updated my dating apps? I hadn't been taking them seriously, just swiping occasionally. Chatting here and there. But not actually meeting anyone. But about a week ago, I matched with someone named Claire. She was 27. A graphic designer. Had this warm smile in her photos and a bio that was actually funny instead of the usual cliches. We started chatting. The conversation flowed easily. She asked thoughtful questions. Made me laugh. Shared my sense of humor. After a few days of messaging, she suggested we meet for coffee. No pressure. Just to see if we clicked in person the way we did over text. I hesitated. Part of me felt like I was still too raw from the Amber situation. But another part of me thought, why am I putting my life on hold for someone who didn't put hers on hold for me? So I said yes. We met at a coffee shop downtown on Saturday afternoon. And from the moment we started talking, it was easy, natural. She was exactly who she seemed to be online, funny, smart, genuine, with this calming presence that put me immediately at ease. We talked for 3 hours. About work, about life, about our families, about what we wanted out of life. She told me about her recent breakup. Her ex had been emotionally unavailable and she'd finally walked away. I told her about my situation with Amber in broad strokes. So she wanted casual until you actually kept it casual? Claire said, raising an eyebrow. Exactly. That's classic. She wanted you as her safety net while she explored other options. And when you weren't there to catch her, she panicked. It was refreshing to hear someone articulate exactly what I'd been feeling. When we parted ways, she gave me a hug and said, I really enjoyed this. I'd love to do it again if you're interested. I am. I said. And I meant it. We've seen each other twice since then. Once for dinner at this Italian place she recommended. And once for a walk around the lake near her apartment. Both times were great. Easy. No games. No mixed signals. No dramatic declarations. Just two people getting to know each other and enjoying each other's company. Here's the part that's going to make me sound like an asshole. I posted a picture on Instagram from my dinner with Claire. Nothing romantic, just the two of us smiling at the camera. With a caption about trying a new restaurant. But it was clear I was with a woman. Within 10 minutes, my phone started blowing up. Amber called me 5 times in a row. When I didn't answer, she started texting. Who is that? Are you seeing someone? How could you move on so fast? I thought you cared about me. You told me we couldn't go back and now you're dating someone else? Then came the longer messages. I can't believe you're doing this to me. After everything we had. After I poured my heart out to you. You're just replacing me like I meant nothing? I'm sitting here trying to fix things and you're out having fun with some random girl? This is so messed up. You told me you needed time and space, but apparently you had enough time and space for her. I stared at the messages for a long time before responding. Finally, I typed, Amber, you told me you wanted casual. You told me you wanted to live your life without the pressure of a relationship. I respected that. And I'm living my life too. What I do and who I spend time with isn't your business anymore. You need to accept that and move on. I have. Her response was immediate. I made a mistake. Why can't you understand that? People make mistakes. I love you. I replied, you can love someone and still not be right for them. I hope you find what you're looking for. But it's not going to be with me. Please stop contacting me. She called again. I didn't answer. She texted again. I muted the conversation. Then, yesterday, I got a DM on Instagram from one of her friends, someone I'd met a few times but didn't know well. Hey, I know this isn't really my business. But Amber is really going through it right now. She's barely eating. She's crying all the time. She's completely devastated. I know you're moving on. And that's your right. But could you maybe talk to her? Give her some closure? She's really struggling. I showed the message to Claire when I saw her later that day. We'd been seeing each other for less than 2 weeks. And I didn't want to dump my drama on her. But I also wanted to be transparent. Do you want to talk to her? Claire asked. Part of me feels guilty. I admitted. Like maybe I should give her closure or help her move on or something. Can I give you my perspective? Claire said carefully. Please. You don't owe her closure. She had closure when you told her you were done. What she wants isn't closure, it's another chance to convince you to take her back. And if you give her that opening, she's going to take it. The kindest thing you can do for both of you is maintain the boundary you've set. She was right. I knew she was right. I didn't respond to the friend's message. But here's what's been weighing on me. I don't think I'm handling this perfectly. I think posting that picture was a bit petty. Even if it wasn't consciously meant to hurt Amber. I think maybe I've been colder than I needed to be. And I do feel bad that she's suffering. But I also know that I can't set myself on fire to keep her warm. I can't sacrifice my own happiness and my own future to manage her emotions. She made a choice when she told me she wanted to keep things casual. I made a choice when I accepted that and started living my life accordingly.
And just because she regrets her choice now doesn't mean I have to reverse mine.
Claire and I are taking things slow. We've both been clear that we're still getting to know each other and not rushing into anything serious. But there's potential there. Real potential. And I'm not going to sabotage that by dragging my past into it. I've blocked Amber on everything except text messages. I kept it unblocked in case of genuine emergency. But I've muted the conversation so I don't see her messages unless I actively check.
I've asked my friends not to update me on how she's doing or pass along messages from her.
I've set the boundary.
Now I have to hold it.
Is this the right way to handle things? I still don't entirely know. But it's the only way I know how to move forward without constantly looking back.
Update number 2. Posted 3 weeks later. I wasn't planning to update again.
But some things have happened that I think warrant a final follow-up. It's been almost 3 weeks since my last update. And life has settled into a new normal that feels
good.
Really good. Actually. First, the Amber situation. After I blocked her on social media and muted her texts, things finally started to quiet down. The constant messages slowed. Then stopped. The surprise appearances ended. I haven't heard from her or her friends in over 2 weeks now. I'd be lying if I said I don't think about her sometimes. 7 months of my life were wrapped up in that relationship. And you don't just flip a switch and stop caring about someone. But I've realized that caring about someone and wanting to be with them are two very different things. I hope she's okay. I hope she's working through whatever she needs to work through. But I also know that her healing isn't my responsibility. As for Claire, things have been progressing naturally. We're officially dating now. We had the "what are we?" conversation about a week ago. And we're both on the same page about being exclusive and seeing where this goes. What I love about being with Claire is how uncomplicated it feels. There's no drama. No games. No mixed signals.
When she wants to see me.
She says so.
When she needs space.
She communicates that. We talk about our feelings like adults instead of making each other guess. Last weekend,
we took a weekend trip to the coast.
Just the two of us.
Staying in this little bed and breakfast.
Hiking during the day and having dinner at local restaurants at night. It was simple and perfect. At one point, we were sitting on the beach watching the sunset, and she said, "Can I ask you something? Anything? Are you over her, Amber?" I thought about it for a moment. I'm over the relationship. I'm over wanting to be with her. But I don't know if I'm completely over the hurt of how it ended. If that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. She said, "I just need to know that you're here with me because you want to be. Not because you're trying to prove something to her or to yourself. I'm here because you make me happy." I said, "Because talking to you is easy. Because being with you feels right. Amber might have been the catalyst that got me back out there. But you're the reason I'm staying." She smiled and leaned her head on my shoulder. Good answer. That conversation made me realize something important. I'm not with Claire to spite Amber or to prove that I've moved on. I'm with Claire because she's someone I genuinely enjoy being with. Someone who adds to my life instead of complicating it. Now, here's the part that some of you have been waiting for, the final confrontation with Amber. It happened 4 days ago. I was leaving my apartment to meet Claire for dinner when I found Amber sitting in her car outside my building. When she saw me, she got out and approached. "Please don't walk away," she said before I could say anything. "I just need 5 minutes. Then I'll leave you alone forever. I promise." Part of me wanted to keep walking. But another part thought, maybe this is what she needs to move on. 5 minutes, I said. That's it. We sat on a bench outside my building. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Wearing sweatpants and an oversized hoodie. This wasn't the put-together, vibrant woman I'd met 6 months ago. "I'm not here to beg you to take me back," she started. Which surprised me. I know I already ruined that chance. Multiple times. Apparently. "Okay," I said cautiously. "I've been in therapy." She continued. "Started going about 2 weeks ago. And I've realized some things about myself that I needed to face." She took a deep breath. "When I told you I wanted to keep things casual, it wasn't really about wanting freedom or wanting to live my life. It was about being terrified." Terrified of what? Of how much I loved you. Of how serious things were getting. Of the fact that you could actually be the person I end up with. She wiped at her eyes. "My parents got divorced when I was 16. It was awful, messy, painful, traumatic. My dad cheated on my mom with someone from his office. My mom fell apart. I watched her go from this vibrant, confident woman to someone who couldn't get out of bed for weeks. I'm sorry you went through that," I said quietly. I told myself I'd never let anyone have that power over me. That I'd never be vulnerable enough to someone that they could destroy me the way my dad destroyed my mom. And when things started getting really serious with you, when I realized I was in deep enough that losing you would actually hurt, I panicked. So you pushed me away before I could hurt you. Exactly. But the thing is, I hurt you anyway. And I hurt myself too. I manufactured the exact pain I was trying to avoid. We sat in silence for a moment. I'm not telling you this to make excuses, she said. What I did to you was selfish and unfair. You deserved so much better than the way I treated you. I just wanted you to understand that it was never about you not being enough. You were always enough. I was just too scared to accept that. I appreciate you telling me this, I said. And I'm glad you're in therapy working through it. But it doesn't change anything. I know, she said. And fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. I know it's too late. I know you've moved on. I saw the pictures, she looks really nice. I hope she makes you happy. She does. Good. You deserve to be happy. She stood up, wiping her face. I really am sorry. For all of it. And I know you probably don't believe me. But I did love you. I still do. I just didn't love myself enough to let you love me. She started walking back to her car. Then turned around. One more thing. You were right about everything you said. I did want you as my backup plan. I did take you for granted. And I did only really want you back when I thought I was losing you. I hate that about myself. But you were right. I watched her get in her car and drive away. And I felt sad. But also relieved. Sad for her. For what she was going through. For the fear that had driven her to sabotage something good. But relieved that I'd stood my ground. That I hadn't let guilt or pity pull me back into something that wasn't healthy. That evening, I told Claire about the conversation over dinner. How do you feel? She asked. Honestly, I feel at peace. I think that's what closure actually looks like, not some dramatic final conversation. But just accepting that it's over and being okay with that. I'm proud of you, she said. I know that probably sounds condescending. But I mean it. A lot of people would have gone back to her after hearing all that. I thought about it. I admitted. For about 30 seconds. But then I remembered that understanding why someone hurt you doesn't mean you have to let them back in your life. She reached across the table and took my hand. You're going to make someone very happy someday. Someone? I said, raising an eyebrow. I was hoping it might be you. She laughed. Let's start with making each other happy today and see where it goes from there. So that's where I am now. Amber and I have both moved on, her toward healing whatever trauma drove her to sabotage our relationship. And me toward building something new with someone who's ready for it. I don't regret the relationship with Amber. It taught me what I do and don't want in a partner. It taught me the importance of boundaries. It taught me that sometimes love isn't enough if the other person isn't ready to receive it. But mostly, it taught me that my happiness can't be dependent on someone else choosing me. I have to choose myself first. To anyone reading this who's in a similar situation, if someone tells you they want casual, believe them. Don't wait around hoping they'll change their mind. Don't put your life on hold for someone who won't even commit to a future with you. Live your life. Have fun. Meet new people. And if that person realizes they made a mistake, you'll be too busy being happy to care. Final update, posted 2 months later. This will be my last update on this situation. I'm writing it primarily because I've received dozens of messages asking how things turned out. And I figure I owe closure to the people who've been following along. It's been 2 months since my last update. Claire and I are still together. And things are going incredibly well. We recently decided to move in together, her lease was up. And we were basically living together anyway. So it made sense to make it official. I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't this moving too fast? Maybe. But sometimes when you know, you know. And after the Amber situation, I have a much clearer sense of what I want and need in a partner. Claire is that. She's supportive without being clingy, independent without being distant, communicative without being dramatic. She's just healthy. Our relationship is healthy. And after months of chaos and confusion, healthy feels absolutely incredible. As for Amber, I haven't heard from her since that final conversation on the bench outside my apartment. I hope she's doing better. I genuinely do. But she's part of my past now. And I'm comfortable leaving her there. About 3 weeks ago, I ran into one of her friends, Monica, at a coffee shop. It was unavoidable. We made eye contact and she came over. Hey, she said awkwardly. How are you? I'm good. Really good. Actually. You? Good. She hesitated. Then said, look, I just want to say, I owe you an apology. We all do, Amber's friends. We gave you so much crap for not taking her back. And we didn't know the full story. She finally told us everything about how it actually went down. You don't need to apologize. No. I do. We thought you were the bad guy. That you just coldly moved on while she was heartbroken. We didn't realize that she was the one who ended things. That she wanted to keep you as a backup plan while she explored other options. That's really messed up. She was going through something. I said. I don't hate her for it. That's generous of you. She's doing better now. By the way, still in therapy. She's been seeing someone, nothing serious. But she seems more grounded. More like herself. I'm glad to hear that. And for what it's worth, she knows she screwed up. She's not sitting around pining for you or anything. She's accepted it and moved on. I just wanted you to know that. In case you were worried about her. I appreciated that information more than I expected to. Not because I wanted Amber back, but because it confirmed that we'd both done the right thing by letting each other go. After Monica left, I texted Claire, random question, do you believe in closure? She replied, I believe closure is something you give yourself, not something someone else can give you. Why? Just ran into someone from my past. Made me think about endings and how we process them. And I think I'm finally good. Actually, genuinely good. Good. Now get home soon. I'm making dinner and I might burn it if you're not here to supervise. That exchange, simple, light, secure, made me realize how far I'd come. 3 months ago, I was tangled up in desperate texts and emotional manipulation and constant second guessing. Now I was with someone who made cooking dinner together feel like the highlight of my day. I learned something crucial through all of this. The right person won't make you feel crazy. They won't leave you decoding mixed signals or wondering where you stand. They won't ask you to diminish yourself so they can feel free. The right person will be clear. They'll be consistent. They'll show up. Not just when it's convenient, but when it matters. Amber taught me what I don't want. Claire is teaching me what I do. Last weekend, Claire and I were unpacking boxes in our new apartment. Well, her boxes. Since most of my stuff was already there. She held up a framed photo from one of our early dates. Should we put this up? She asked. Definitely, I said. Not too soon? We've only been together a few months. We've been together long enough for me to know I want pictures of us on the walls. She smiled that smile that made me fall for her in the first place. You're absolutely sure about this? About me? About us? I walked over and took the frame from her hands, setting it on the counter. Then I pulled her close. I spent months with someone who made me question everything. Whether I was too much or not enough. Whether I was suffocating her or not present enough. Whether she actually wanted me or just wanted someone to be there when she needed them. And, she said softly, and with you. I don't question any of it. I'm sure about you. About us. About this. I'm more sure about this than I've been about anything in a long time. She kissed me, and we stood there in our half-unpacked apartment, surrounded by boxes and furniture that still needed to be assembled. And it felt perfect. That evening, my phone buzzed with an email notification. I almost ignored it. But the subject line caught my eye. Thank you and goodbye. It was from Amber. I hesitated before opening it. Claire was in the shower, and I had a moment alone to decide whether I wanted to read whatever Amber had sent. I opened it. Hi. I know I said I'd leave you alone. And I have been. I'm not sending this to reopen anything or to ask for another chance. I'm sending it because my therapist suggested I write you a letter, not to send. Just to process my feelings. But when I finished it, I realized I wanted you to actually read it. So here it is. I've spent the last 2 months really looking at myself and the patterns I've fallen into in relationships. And I've realized that what I did to you wasn't an isolated incident. I've done some version of it in every relationship I've been in. I get close to someone. Panic about vulnerability. Push them away. Then freak out when they actually leave. It's exhausting. And it's not fair to the people I do it to. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. You deserved honesty from the beginning instead of me stringing you along while I figured out my issues. You deserved a partner who was excited to build a future with you. Not someone who treated commitment like a prison sentence. I see now that I was never going to be ready for what you were offering. Not because you were asking too much, but because I wasn't capable of giving enough. I'm working on that. Learning to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. Learning that vulnerability isn't weakness. Learning that love isn't something to be feared. I don't expect you to forgive me or to even care about any of this. You've moved on. And you should. I just needed you to know that I finally understand what I threw away. Not so you'll take me back. But so you know that you weren't the problem. You never were. I hope you're happy. I hope she treats you the way you deserve to be treated. And I hope someday I'll be healthy enough to treat someone that way too. Take care of yourself. Amber. I read the email twice. Then set my phone down. Claire emerged from the bathroom in pajamas. Her hair wrapped in a towel. Everything okay? Yeah, I said. Amber sent me an email. A goodbye. Actually, do you want to talk about it? Not really. I think it was what she needed to say more than what I needed to hear. But I appreciate that she said it. That's mature of you. I'm trying. I pulled her onto the couch next to me. You know what's funny? 3 months ago, I would have obsessed over that email. Analyzed every word. Wondered if I should respond. Questioned my decision to walk away. And now I read it. Acknowledged it. And moved on with my evening. Because my real life is right here. She curled into my side. Your real life is pretty good. Huh? My real life is better than I imagined it could be. We sat there in comfortable silence. And I realized something. Happiness isn't dramatic. It's not grand gestures or passionate declarations or constant intensity. It's this: coming home to someone who's happy to see you, making dinner together, laughing at stupid TV shows, building a life with someone who wants to build it with you. Amber wanted fireworks and excitement and constant novelty. And maybe she'll find that someday with someone else. But I wanted this: stability, partnership, someone who shows up consistently. Not just when the mood strikes them. I wanted someone who saw a future with me as an opportunity, not a trap. And I found her. 3 months ago. When Amber told me she just wanted fun. I thought my world was ending. I thought losing her meant losing everything we'd built. But really, she was doing me a favor. She was showing me that we weren't compatible in the ways that actually matter. And she was clearing the path for someone who was. So to anyone reading this who's going through something similar, whether you're the one being pushed away or the one doing the pushing, here's what I learned: if someone tells you they're not ready for what you're offering, believe them. Don't wait around hoping they'll change. Don't sacrifice your own happiness trying to convince them of your worth. Move on. Actually move on. Not just performatively. Live your life. Meet new people. Discover what you actually want instead of what you thought you wanted. And if that person realizes they made a mistake, you'll be too busy being genuinely happy to care. The best revenge isn't showing someone what they lost. It's genuinely not needing to show them anything at all because you're too fulfilled with what you found. Amber wanted fun. I gave her space to find it. And in that space, I found something better. Someone who wanted me there. That's where this story ends. Not with dramatic confrontations or vengeful victories. But with me sitting on a couch with someone I love. In an apartment we share. Building a life that feels right. Simple. Stable. Real. Exactly what I wanted all along.